Reports of LeBron James joining the Sixers have been growing ever since news broke that Philadelphia was pitching him.
So when the Sixers got Jaylen Brown, I did some research and I found out within 24 hours, he's taking their pitch really seriously.
Now it looks like that pitch may have worked. LeBron James is reportedly headed to the Sixers to join Joel Embiid. But behind this blockbuster move is a story most fans haven't heard yet. Let me break it down. The Sixers make their move for LeBron. The news broke at the end of June 2026. LeBron James told the Lakers he would not play for them in the 2026-27 season. His agent, Rich Paul of Clutch Sports, passed the word to the front office and to general manager Rob Pelinka. That was the whole message. LeBron was done with the Lakers.
Well, obviously that's some shocking news we just saw, with reportedly that LeBron James is not going to be playing with the LA Lakers next season.
The report did not name a new team. It only said he was leaving. That one line changed the math for every contender in the league.
That is a very big deal because it signals to a few teams that they have a chance to actually get LeBron James.
Because LeBron left as a free agent, no team had to trade for him. He could sign where he wanted. His contract status let him enter free agency without a buyout or a fight. So the phone started ringing across the league. The demand was real, not a rumor. Around the league, a long list of teams put a standing offer on the table for him.
All 10 of those teams have a standing offer for LeBron James.
10 offers is a crowd, so that list had to be trimmed. The timing gave his camp room to sort it out. LeBron sent his message right before the free agency window opened in early July 2026, which let his side weigh every choice before anyone locked in a roster. The Lakers, for their part, started planning around the empty seat he left behind, and one team was not even on the board at first. That team was Philadelphia. Then the Sixers made a move of their own. Philadelphia traded for Jaylen Brown. After that trade, the Sixers went from an afterthought to a name that kept coming up.
The teams that continue to come up are Cleveland, Miami, Philadelphia after they got the Jaylen Brown.
Before that deal, Philadelphia was not part of the talk at all. The Brown trade flipped it.
Philadelphia was not in the picture.
Within a day of the Brown trade, word got out about how LeBron felt. He was not brushing the Sixers off. Philadelphia expressed real interest in adding him, and the report said he was listening.
I did some research and I found out within 24 hours, he's taking their pitch really seriously.
So here's where things stood. LeBron was out in Los Angeles. He was free to pick any team. Philadelphia had just landed a star, and it had put its name in front of him fast. The Sixers had Joel Embiid. They had Tyrese Maxey. And now they had Jaylen Brown. Adding LeBron would stack 4 big names on one roster. The Brown trade had done one more thing that mattered. It opened a roster spot, which meant Philadelphia had a place to put one more player. The name at the top of everyone's list was LeBron. And the Sixers knew it. So they made the call, and they made it quickly. For a lot of fans, that was enough. LeBron next to Embiid felt real. The two had shared a floor before, and the timing seemed to click. Philadelphia moved first, moved fast, and had a pitch ready the moment the Brown trade cleared. Reports placed the Sixers among the contenders who reached out right after the deal. To understand why Philadelphia believed it had a real shot at landing him, you have to go back to the reason LeBron was on the market in the first place, and to what he was truly chasing when he walked out the door in Los Angeles. What LeBron wanted from his next team. The end in Los Angeles arrived quietly. There was no farewell press conference and no long goodbye letter. Late in June 2026, Rich Paul simply told the Lakers that his client was moving on, and the update flowed through official league channels rather than a stage and a microphone. It closed the book on LeBron's second run with the franchise, a run that stretched across 8 seasons and produced the 2020 championship inside the Orlando bubble. The split was clean on the business side, with no buyout drama and no bad blood in the paperwork. The season that came before it had been a grind. LeBron appeared in roughly 60 games during the 2025-26 campaign, a number shaped by careful rest and a body that now demanded management. He even opened the year on the sideline, missing the first 14 games, and for stretches he played a role he had never played before. He was not the first option. He was not even the second.
I've never been a third option in my life.
When the Lakers season ended, LeBron sat at the podium and sounded like a man who had made peace with the losing, but not with the questions. He leaned on the calm, steady mantra that has carried him for years. The idea that you handle what is in your hands and let the rest go.
But at the end of the day, you control the controllables.
He would not give anyone a headline about his future. He talked instead about stepping back, spending time with his wife and his children, and thinking things over before deciding anything. The door was open. The direction was blank.
I don't know what the future holds for me, obviously, as it stands right now tonight.
Here's the part that mattered for every team dreaming about him. LeBron was not chasing a paycheck. He is a billionaire many times over, and money stopped being the point a long time ago. What still burned was the ring count, the endless race against Michael Jordan's shadow, and the pull of one more real shot at a title.
He's basically willing to sign anywhere so that he can pursue another championship.
Because he's chasing Michael.
That willingness to bend on salary is the key that unlocks this entire story. When a superstar tells the league he will play for cheap, suddenly the teams that could never afford him can dream. Money aside, LeBron has always said the real deciders sit at home. The talks that matter happen with his wife and his kids, not with a front office.
And then also, have a conversation with my 12-year-old daughter.
There is one more thing that keeps him lacing up, and it is not the trophies. It is the daily grind he still loves. The film sessions and the early mornings, the work behind the game.
We grow up playing a game that we love, and you do it at a high level.
As long as that love holds, he keeps playing. And when he plays to win. That is the LeBron every contender was calling. This pattern is not new for him. Every big free agency swing he has ever taken has followed the same compass, which points at winning first and everything else second. Look at the map he has drawn over his career. In 2010, he took his talents to Miami, teamed with Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh, and reached 4 straight finals with 2 titles. In 2014, he went home to Cleveland and delivered the city its first championship, clawing back from a 3-1 hole in the finals. In 2018, he signed with the Lakers and won again in 2020. 3 moves, 3 plans built around contention, and every one of them steered by Rich Paul. So when 2026 opened with LeBron free and hungry, the teams with a real core and a clear path became the ones to watch. Philadelphia would soon build exactly that kind of path, and it started with one blockbuster. The trade that cleared LeBron's path to Philadelphia. The move that dragged Philadelphia into this whole conversation had nothing to do with LeBron at first. It was a swap with Boston, and it landed like a thunderclap across the league. The 76ers acquired Jaylen Brown from the Celtics in exchange for Paul George and a bundle of future draft picks. Boston, a proud franchise built on banners, shipped out a former Finals MVP, and not everyone took the news kindly. The reaction from Boston voices was raw. One former Celtic looked at the deal, at the years Brown had given the city, and could not hide the sting of watching him leave for a package that felt light.
As a former Celtic, I do not approve of this trade.
The gripe was about the return. Boston sent Brown to Philadelphia and took back Paul George, along with future first-round picks in 2028 and 2031 plus extra second-round selections. For a wing still in his prime, plenty of people in Boston felt that Hall came up short, and the words got sharp.
This is nothing but sloppy seconds, in my opinion.
The anger ran deeper than sentiment. The worry was that Boston had not just weakened itself, it had handed a rival the keys to the Eastern Conference. Because on the other end of the phone line, Philadelphia had gotten stronger overnight, and the pairing of Brown with a healthy Embiid and a rising Maxey looked frightening.
He just basically handed the Philadelphia 76ers a trip to the NBA Finals next year.
Even Brown himself seemed stunned by the whole thing. A player who had spent his entire career in green suddenly found himself pulling on a new jersey, and the strangeness of it had not worn off.
It's still weird now. My brain is like, Philly? Like, of all places, like, why would you do that?
Strange or not, the basketball impact was immediate and enormous. Brown brought years of deep playoff experience and steady scoring, and Philadelphia pulled him in without giving up its core of Embiid and Maxey. The Sixers now had 3 high-level pieces locked together, and they had done it in one of the loudest deals of the offseason. But the trade did something else that turned out to matter just as much. It cleared the runway. The reshuffling created an open roster spot, and it signaled to the rest of the league that Philadelphia was playing to win right now. This very season, not 2 years down the line. The deal kept the core intact and did not gut the future too badly, which meant the Sixers could still chase a veteran to fill that empty seat. That open spot became the entry point for exactly the kind of low-cost signing a team over the cap can still pull off, and that message reached the exact free agent who cared about nothing more than winning right now. The front office moved with purpose. Within a day or two of the Brown deal closing, Philadelphia reached out to Clutch Sports about LeBron. The pitch was not built on a giant check, because the Sixers could not offer one. With Embiid, Brown, and Maxey already eating up the cap sheet, any LeBron deal would land under the mid-level exception, around $15 million at the top end, or a veteran minimum slot. So the pitch leaned on something else. It leaned on fit. Come to Philadelphia, the message went, and you will not have to carry the scoring or the defense on your aging shoulders. You will have Embiid inside, Maxey flying up the floor, and Brown on the wing. All you have to do is orchestrate. That speed is what separated Philadelphia from the pack. Plenty of teams called, but few moved as fast or dangled as complete a roster. The Sixers had gone from a name nobody mentioned to a contender knocking on LeBron's door inside 24 hours. And the reason the pitch carried real weight is that LeBron and the man in the middle of that Philadelphia frontcourt already knew how to win together. LeBron and Embiid already have a blueprint. The heart of this whole dream is not really the money or the roster spots. It is chemistry, and LeBron and Joel Embiid already have a taste of it. The two shared the floor on the 2024 Paris Olympics team that won gold for the United States. That summer gave the basketball world a live preview of exactly the kind of partnership Philadelphia would be selling in 2026. On that Team USA squad, coached by Steve Kerr, the roles fit together like puzzle pieces. LeBron slid into the veteran quarterback job, running the offense and setting the table, while Embiid anchored the paint with his scoring and his size. LeBron created the advantages, Embiid finished them, and the whole thing hummed without either man stepping on the other's toes. There was no ego tug of war over shots. There was a facilitator and a finisher, and they respected each other's game. That summer matters, because the two had never crossed paths in an NBA regular season or playoff series. The Olympic run is the only real sample anyone has of them together, and the sample looked clean. LeBron's passing paired naturally with Embiid's efficiency near the rim, and the numbers hinted that both men could carry lighter loads if they ever joined forces for real. Dig into why it worked, and the fit gets sharper. Embiid's rim protection and rebounding gave the defense a backbone, which let LeBron rest his legs for the offensive end instead of chasing everyone in transition. Going the other way, LeBron's floor spacing and his smart cutting cracked open driving lanes and easy looks that fed Embiid in the post and in the pick and roll. Both men also spoke well of the experience afterward, trading respect instead of shots. That is the rare kind of pairing that needs no long adjustment period, because the two already know where the other one wants the ball. Now picture that same fit stretched across a full Sixers roster. LeBron would not be the hub who has to score 30. He would be the point forward, the maestro, distributing the ball and picking spots. And after a season where he lived as a third option and still made peace with it, that lighter role is one he has already proven he can thrive in. What keeps him going is not the volume. It is the chase.
So, just being able to compete and trying to win championships, I think that's a motivating factor.
He has nothing left to prove to anyone about his individual game. He has said as much plainly with the weariness of a man who has seen every corner of the sport.
I've done it all, I've seen it all.
Wrap that mindset around a lineup with Embiid inside, Maxi's speed and shooting, and Brown's wing scoring, and the fantasy writes itself. LeBron as the conductor, 3 all-star talents as the orchestra, and a defense anchored by one of the best big men alive. On paper, it is a machine built for the postseason, with staggered minutes to protect the older legs and enough firepower to survive when a star sits. And here is the twist that makes the whole thing feel like fate. This would not be the first time Philadelphia chased him. Back in 2018, the Sixers made a formal run at LeBron, meeting with Rich Paul and pitching a full 4-year maximum contract. The sell back then was a young core built around a rising Embiid, a pile of cap space, and a roster full of length and defense. He listened, waited, and said no, choosing the Lakers instead. 8 years later, with Embiid now in his prime and a title window wide open, the same organization was back in the room, only this time the offer was smaller and the roster was further along. The history was there, the fit was there, the pitch was there, but chemistry was never going to be the thing that decided this. The factor that would settle where LeBron played next had nothing to do with the Olympics or the highlight reels or old meetings in 2018. It came down to money, and that is where Philadelphia found itself in a crowd. What Philadelphia is up against for LeBron: money was the wall, and it was a tall one. Embiid, Brown, and Maxey already swallow up most of the Sixers' salary, so Philadelphia could not back up a truck of cash. The best they could put on the table sat in the mid-level range, or even a straight veteran minimum. When the analysts ran the math, the real figure any of these contenders could fit landed at right around $6 million.
The LeBron James number is going to have to be right at $6 million here.
LeBron has already told the world money is not the point, so a small deal by itself would not push him away. But here's the catch that made Philadelphia's job so hard. That exact same offer was sitting on the desk of a handful of other contenders, and every one of them had a serious roster to sell. Listen to how the insiders actually stacked up the field. Philadelphia earned a real seat at the table, but it sat inside a group, not out front alone.
And so I look at it when I talk to teams now as kind of a hierarchy of Cleveland, Miami, Philadelphia.
Cleveland kept surfacing as the cleanest fit of them all. The Cavaliers had a full ready-made core in Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen, plus the pull of the city LeBron already called home twice and once delivered a championship, for at least one respected voice at the desk that made Cleveland the pick over everybody.
For me, personally, I think it's the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Then there was Miami, and the pull there ran deep. The Heat had reshaped their roster around Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bam Adebayo, and this is the very place where LeBron reached 4 straight finals and won 2 rings under Eric Spoelstra. In the eyes of one veteran cap analyst, that made the Heat the most fascinating landing spot of the whole bunch.
I think the most intriguing team is Miami. okay?
And out on the edge sat Golden State, the team plenty of people pegged as the early frontrunner. The moment Draymond Green opted out of his contract, it cracked open the door for the Warriors to dangle the full mid-level exception, which is a heavier check than most of the field could write.
It has opened up the possibility of creating the full non-taxpayer mid-level exception, which is a big deal.
So that was the battlefield. Cleveland, Miami, Golden State, and Philadelphia all circling the same man, most of them waving the same money, each armed with a case built on rings and roster fit, and not one of these teams was frozen in place, waiting on LeBron to make up his mind. They had their own rosters to build and their own moves to make.
I think the one thing that's to note with the three teams, they're not waiting on LeBron James.
That is what made this summer stand apart from every other LeBron free agency. There was no guaranteed max sitting there for him and no plan drawn up in advance. This was a wide open board, and even the people who cover him for a living admitted they could not call where the wheel would stop.
And I think that's why this is somewhat a true free agency for LeBron James, because he didn't go into it with a calculation in mind, a plan in place.
Philadelphia had done just about everything right. They landed a star in Jaylen Brown. They moved on LeBron inside a day. They sold the Embiid fit hard, and they muscled their way into the middle of the conversation from a starting point of nowhere. But the same $6 million number was staring back at LeBron from 3 or 4 different cities, each one carrying its own history and its own shot at a ring. Now the decision sat exactly where it has always sat with LeBron James, in his own hands. So the biggest question of the entire offseason is still hanging in the air. Embiid and the Sixers made their pitch. Cleveland, Miami, and Golden State made theirs. Where do you think the king finally lays his crown down? Drop it in the comments and stick around, because the moment this one breaks, we will be right back here to break it down. Thank you for watching.